Could anyone have anticipated the turn of events in the Russia-Ukraine conflict? How did NATO end up admitting defeat? Let's take a step back and examine the initial stages of the conflict. The invasion of Ukraine by Russia set the stage for an unpredictable and volatile situation. The US and its allies found themselves in a race against time, engaged in the largest authorized transfer of arms in history to a foreign nation. The goal, to arm Ukraine to bolster its counteroffensive against the formidable Russian forces. But this mission was not without its challenges. From supply chain issues to slow decision-making processes, the hurdles were numerous and daunting. Yet the US and its allies forged ahead, determined to support Ukraine in its fight for sovereignty. A key aspect of the conflict was the role of artillery. The war was primarily fought through artillery duels, and Ukraine found itself grappling with a severe shortage of artillery shells. Despite receiving newer artillery guns and shells from the US and European allies, the demand far exceeded the manufacturing capacity. The US even went as far as reviving Cold War-era industrial facilities to meet the pressing needs of the conflict. As the largest invasion in Europe since Hitler's reign unfolded, the world watched in anticipation and dread. The unpredictable turn of events left many questioning the future of Europe and the role of NATO in maintaining peace and stability in the region. NATO, a powerful military alliance, found itself cornered. But how did we get here? The roots of NATO's defeat can be traced back to the amassing of Russian troops and equipment along Ukraine's border. With the world's eyes on this high-stakes chessboard, the United States imposed sanctions on Russia. However, these measures, seen as late and limited, did not deter the Russian bear from advancing. The consequences were not only political but also economic. Americans were faced with a steep financial cost, a burden that could grow heavier with the potential breakup of NATO. This was not a solitary struggle. Western European allies, heavily reliant on Russian oil, due to policy decisions, found themselves in a quandary. This dependency tied their hands, limiting their capacity to respond effectively to the crisis. In a domino effect, the conflict in Ukraine disrupted oil and gas production, making countries like the United States more reliant on Russia, OPEC, and the Middle East. This shift in energy dynamics emboldened Putin's influence, shaping the course of this conflict. The ultimate blow came when NATO chief Jens Stoltenberg admitted defeat, marking a historic moment in the Russia-Ukraine conflict. The once mighty alliance found itself on the back foot, grappling with the reality of a changed geopolitical landscape. Amidst the turmoil, Sweden's bid for NATO membership has been stalled for 18 months. Why? The reasons behind the delay are complex, but a key factor is resistance from Turkey and Hungary. Despite Sweden's long-standing commitment to peacekeeping and international security, these nations have been hesitant to give their approval. In the intricate web of international politics, various factors come into play. Turkey and Hungary, for example, have their own geopolitical interests to consider. And while 29 of NATO's allies were ready to roll out the welcome mat for Sweden at a recent meeting of foreign ministers in Brussels, these two nations held back. This delay has led to disappointment and concern among the other NATO allies. Sweden's accession to NATO would not only strengthen the alliance but also send a strong message to Russia, given the current geopolitical climate. NATO's chief, Jens Stoltenberg, has publicly urged Turkey and Hungary to approve Sweden's membership as soon as possible. Yet the final decision still hangs in the balance. The world watches and waits to see if Sweden's bid will finally be approved or if it will remain stalled. Stoltenberg has urged Turkey and Hungary to approve Sweden's membership as soon as possible, but the outcome remains uncertain.